Hello, and welcome to the presentation today on Tech for Empowerment, Shifting Perspectives of Autism with Assistive Technology. My name is Dr. Dina Aucoin. I am full-time faculty here at Purdue Global in the Professional Studies program. My past life, I spent over 20 years in the classroom working primarily with students with autism, but also a variety of children with special needs. And so this content is particularly important to me as our main goal as special education teachers working even with early childhood all the way through high school is to help our students work toward autonomy, independence, and a satisfying life where they feel that they contribute and belong. So today, we're going to talk about the transformative power of technology for individuals with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, or often condensed to autism. And we're going to talk about how assistive technology can transcend being just a tool, but also can become a catalyst for empowerment and autonomy. Our goal is to challenge stereotypes today and reshape perceptions toward a future that celebrates neurodiversity and embraces the unique strengths of individuals on the spectrum. So before diving in, I want you to think about a tech tool that has significantly impacted your life. I often really try to bring our typical people and typical children into the mindset of an individual with ASD, and just think about you yourself. What do you use as tools to support yourself? Because it helps us to think, wow, I use that as a tool, but I don't even think about it. For our individuals with autism, it needs to be much more purposeful and intentional because they don't readily have those skills built in to think about how to support themselves. So a technological tool that has significantly impacted my life is Google Maps. I have a very hard time with directions. And so for me, I was always in a panic mode driving before Google Maps with paper maps or, printed maps, always having to stop, pull over, always being frustrated, being late often. And so now Google Maps is a wonderful support that I use every day. Also for myself are the wireless earbuds and my standing desk. And so you can see I move, I stand up. I am someone with ADHD. I meet my needs by having a standing desk so that I can move and be able to focus and not get tired and or not be distracted by even just sitting in a chair and spinning around. Additionally, the movement piece for me is to not be tethered to anything. I can move, I can talk, I can think while still attending maybe a meeting and or providing a presentation. You'll notice that my standing desk that I'm talking about is not electronic. So while we use the word technology, it's not necessarily always tech as far as having a battery or plugging in. It can be no tech, which is my standing desk. It's simply a piece of furniture that is positioned at a level where I can stand up in order to work. Now, we also have low tech, mid tech, and high tech. Okay, high tech would be perhaps a hearing aid for someone that is hard of hearing or deaf, but it allows them to hear and participate in their setting, in their environment. So there's lots of different tools you can see here from this list. We have the smartphone. YouTube is a great tool. Any of the do-it-yourselfers have likely used YouTube to help them do a project. Computers, coffee makers were even brought up in a previous presentation where, it's very simple now. You can just put that pot in, push a button, you have a cup of coffee. It could be definitely a support tool for a lot of us. Standing desk dictation software is another one, and of course, Google Maps. All right, so let's get going by starting with a little bit of a foundation of autism. So it's really important to just provide a little foundational understanding of ASD, despite where you're coming to this presentation from. Just a note as we move forward, it helps us to remember those main parameters of this category of disability. So it's a spectrum. It encompasses a wide range of presentations. Individuals with autism may experience difficulties with social interaction, communication, and sensory processing. However, it's crucial to recognize the immense potential and strengths that reside within each person on the spectrum. Individuals with autism also excuse me, often grapple with various challenges. Social interactions can be perplexing, making it difficult to navigate social cues, initiate conversations, or understand the nuances of social situations. Communication can be another hurdle. It can prevent difficulties with spoken language, expressing needs, or grasping figurative language. Additionally, repetitive behaviors known as stimming may serve as a coping mechanism for managing sensory overload anxiety. You may notice, and I'll try not to do it in this presentation, I rock when I stand, I rock when I talk, when I think. Other individuals, specifically with ASD, may do hand flapping, they may hit something, they may need to rock themselves, jumping, there's a lot of different ways we can see stimming present in individuals with autism. All right, so to get us going, what is AT really? What is assistive technology really? So I have a couple scenarios that you might relate to. Again, bringing yourself to think about how you use technology as a support. So we have the reader's chef. Linda, a fantastic cook, relies on her giant magnifying glass to decipher the tiny ingredients list on a packet of soup mix. So Linda's no-tech tool is her giant magnifying glass. You can see right now, I have readers on. I'm using them as well. My readers help me to see the screen clearly. And they also help me with blue blocking for the computer screen. So there's a lot of ways I use those tools to support myself. The next one is the text-to-speech bookworm. So Mark loves audiobooks, but he only uses the text-to-speech function. The robotic voice describing a heart-wrenching episode in a novel always leaves him giggling. So his tech is text-to-speech. Then we have the sleep-talking smart speaker. So Susan loves her smart speaker a little too much. Mid-snore, she'll break out random questions. Hey, Google, what's the capital of? Wait, never mind. Definitely pajamas. And go back to sleep. So using a smart speaker is a wonderful assistive technology support that can provide a lot of great information and help to our individuals with autism. We have the remote control everything guy. He's a master of the remote, doesn't have to budge to adjust the thermostat, can control the lights, the television, and the temperature. So many of us use our smartphones for this. However, we can't, now we have this access to have the ability to look at almost everything from our smartphones. The last one is the, excuse me, autocorrect apocalypse. Brenda texts like a pro with a little help from autocorrect. So we all have been plagued by the autocorrect bug. However, texting is a great way to think about how our socially challenged individuals can communicate. They can take their time to write what they need to write. They can think about it, they can review it, and then they can send it. A great example of how I use texting to balance socially is my mother is just wonderful. But there's a joke about my mother and our family that when you say goodbye to her, whether it's in person or on the phone, it will take about 30 minutes to get through that goodbye because there's going to be 5 or 6 other things that she's forgotten to share, wants to share those, and then wants to say goodbye again. And then we go through that cycle, right? And so I know when I don't have a lot of time, but I need maybe an answer from my mom or, a reminder of something, I text her because what I don't want to do is hurt her feelings when I have to say something really quick and then get right off the phone. So I know that I have to plan time for my mom when I'm on the phone or in person, but when I do need something quickly from her, I use text and it works great. So that is my tool that I have used to help with communication needs with my mother. Okay, so text, like I saying, can be a really, really great tool for individuals with autism. Okay, so one powerful assistive technology tool we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 2 kind of tools today specifically. And the reason for that is that we could use many hours talking about all the different types of levels of assistive tech. We could talk about all the different ways to use it, how we use it, how we know if it's useful for a particular student or person. There are, higher education courses on this from the undergraduate, the associates through doctoral level. So there's a lot we could do about this, right? But in this presentation today, we're really just going to talk about two specific things that could really be used in tandem to support autonomy and independence. So one of those powerful tools is video self-modeling. So imagine this. An individual with ASD watches a video of themselves successfully performing a desired behavior without any need for correction. So, like ordering lunch or asking someone for help. Then, by repeatedly viewing this video and repeatedly viewing their success, that person can internalize the steps and then replicate them confidently in real world situations. VSM, then, video self-modeling, is a powerful tool because it leverages the visual learning style that is prevalent among individuals with autism spectrum disorder. So let's look at an example of this. And let me just leave that slide up there. I realized I didn't move that slide for you. And then let's look at an example. That is not coming up. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I provide you the link. Oh, here it is. It popped up. Great. All right. I'm going to turn my video off and let you watch this example.
I need to get ready to move to my next class. First, I need to turn in my classwork into the bin. Next, I need to write my homework assignment in my agenda. So that I have to pack up my binder and my backpack with all the things I need. Lastly, I have to check for my personal belongings like my water bottle and my jacket. Now I'm ready to move to my next class.
Okay, so hopefully that very, very quick video gave you an example of this. And one of the great things about video self-modeling, and I'll go back to this slide here, is that what's great about it is the use now of phones and iPads to make these videos. Back when I used video self-modeling, when it was very first coming out in the research, I had a big video camera that I had to then use, film it, be prompting while I'm filming, and then take that tape out, then go into the editing room, edit out the prompting and the corrections so that the activity, like turn taking in a game, was correct. You take a turn, I take a turn, we talk to each other during that, and then could have the student, then I had to secure a VHS and a TV, and then have the student watch that video. So now, with the tools we have in our technology-rich society, this is so easy and simple to do. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, the research is right. It is effective and works. Our individuals love to watch themselves, and then watching themselves have success only just internalizes it for them and then allows them to go and generalize it, which is one of the biggest issues we have with our individuals with autism, is that we can teach them something in a very controlled setting, but it's very difficult for them to then go out into like a grocery store or a restaurant and replicate that skill that we've been teaching. So VSM is wonderful for this video self-modeling. Okay, let's go now to the next slide. All right, so the next tool that we're going to talk about is sort of bringing these two a little bit together, but there's a great way to use assistive tech to teach skills, right? Through video self-modeling. And therefore, we're addressing stigma head on. We are working to allow students to have success so that they can go into environments and feel a sense of belonging and have success by teaching them the skills they need to then internalize and generalize through using videos. Okay, so another way to promote acceptance and independence for individuals with autism is through quantified self, or what we call QS. So this is likely something you've used. You may not know that it's called quantified self, but this is a movement that empowers individuals to track personal data and gain valuable insights into their lives. So I will show if anyone has an iWatch. You can track steps, you can track exercise, you can track heart rate, your sleep. There's a lot of things you can track. All of that is quantified self. So this can be incredibly beneficial for individuals with autism, because imagine someone wanting to improve their social interaction frequency. Through quantified self, they can track the number of times they initiate conversations each day, and then this data can be put into a graph that allows them to see their progress and to celebrate milestones. So you guessed it. What is quantified self really? I have more scenarios you might relate to. We have the competitive composter, right? Harold is fierce competition with his neighbor Mildred to track visual peelings meticulously on a spreadsheet, convinced the winner is going to get bragging rights and the best tomatoes. A way to use quantified self. The caffeine crusader. Marvin's fitness tracker isn't just for steps, it's for tracking daily caffeine intake. So he can share his graphs with his coworkers about hitting productivity zones, but maybe he decides to also use it to track my water intake, right? We have the accidental influencer. So Agnes wears a step tracker, but only because it came free. But now her friends message her because it's posting that her step count is wonderful. Spill the workout secrets. Right? And the grumpy grocer. So Frank tracks his grocery spending with military precision, spends hours meticulously comparing unit prices, and he tracks this as well. So now he's tracking for budgetary purposes what he's spending and what he's buying. Quantified self. Everything that we do like that is giving us time to learn how to improve and make progress in our own self. This is a wonderful way to support independence and autonomy for our individuals with autism. So we have the synergy, right? The true magic unfolds when we combine video self-modeling and quantified self. Video self-modeling equips individuals with autism with the tools they need to acquire new skills, while quantified self allows them to measure the progress. So imagine someone using video self-modeling to practice initiating conversations. Through quantified self, they can track how many conversations they initiate each day. So seeing their progress visualized on a graph can provide motivation and can reinforce the effectiveness of video self-modeling. So the synergy really can empower individuals to take charge of their development. So while not much is known about quantified self and how it can support, particularly adults with autism spectrum disorder, it is certainly part of the research discussion. Okay, so additional notes here that are really important to share. Remember that this presentation really just presents a few examples. There are specific assistive technology tools that are used, and this will vary based on the individual's needs and preferences. Also, early intervention and access to assistive technology is critical and crucial for maximizing its impact on an individual's development. So always check early and often. It's important to involve the user in the selection depending on the age, but it's really important to involve them because they are the ones that are going to use it. And if we really want it used with fidelity, we need to ensure that we have buy-in from them to really adopt the tool and use it effectively. Additionally, in the presentation PowerPoint, you will see links to look up organizations like the ARC and Easter Seals. They have additional resources on assistive technology and, of course, autism. And then if you're curious and want to know more, research specific assistive technology tools and success stories from leading assistive technology companies. This is a great way to learn more about how to use assistive technology. And then finally, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time to recognize autism, to recognize Autism Awareness Month in April, and for listening to something that I do have a passion for, which is that autonomy, independence, and reducing stigma. So remember that assistive technology that combined with quantified self could certainly empower individuals with autism to not only overcome obstacles, but to also gain valuable insights into their progress, to know who they are as a person and how they want to improve themselves. This is self-awareness that will really foster a sense of control for them and can motivate further growth. So exploring assistive technology and quantified self for individuals with autism could, even just our conversation today can really demonstrate how the transformative power of technology, when tailored to specific needs, can really open doors, right, for individuals with autism. And then by providing tools for self-awareness and progress tracking, we can really empower them to chart their own path to success. And the key takeaway is really the importance of a collaborative approach. Understanding the unique challenges that individuals with autism face, combined with the expertise of technology developers and support professionals, can really unlock the true potential of assistive tech and also quantified self-integration. So I hope this content opens some doors for your own further exploration. I encourage you to research into the most effective ways to integrate assistive technology and quantified self for various needs. And definitely can pave the way for developing and finding more powerful tools to support individuals with ASD in the future. So again, thank you. I would love to hear from you if you have comments or questions on the content. Thanks again.